Hi, and welcome back to Center Webcast. This is episode 9 of the COVID-19 Indiana edition. Our next guest is Jennifer Rairigh. She's coming back from a visit. She was here a week or so ago. I have given her the hashtag local hero a number of times. She has been the spearhead behind the Facebook group Food 911 Indiana, which as you watch it, you can see people getting direct help, people reaching out saying, I'm food insecure, I do not have food, and I need some help, and folks are responding in real time, and it's a really incredible thing to see. How are you, Jenny?
Great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Cool. So another one of these things happened with Meals on Wheels, and once again, if folks were, a lot of folks are home and following the Facebook, you may have seen there was a concern that Meals on Wheels was not going to be able to continue, and maybe Jenny, you can sort of take it from there. What happened then?
Yeah. So Thursday, the 2nd of April, I got a call from a friend about noon that day. She said one of her friends drives for Meals on Wheels and heard that they're going to have to be stopping their services because they had trouble getting not reliable. The volunteers who had been working for Meals on Wheels are fantastic volunteers, but many of them are in an older age group that puts them in particular danger for COVID. So those volunteers had been getting some hassle from their families saying, hey, you shouldn't be out there driving, you need to be staying home. And finally, enough of them had to drop out. It made it too difficult for them to continue the program. So we heard about that. I of course, I have a 92-year-old father. I can't imagine, somebody just saying, well, something that you rely on every day is going to stop. I know that would be a very hard thing for him to take. So within a couple of hours, I called Chevy Chase, I called Aging Services, I called Jane at the United Way, I called ICAP, and we got all those folks on the phone. We managed to have we sort of talked a little bit by email and messaging that afternoon, but we set up a conference call for 9 o'clock the next morning with the intent to decide on that conference call at 9 o'clock how we were going to continue these meals the following Monday so that there was no break in service. We were very concerned about seniors being told on Friday that their service would be stopped beginning Monday and having them worry all weekend about it. So we wanted to make sure we got that communication out to them right away. And that's what happened.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story. And I know you were involved. There were other organizations. Tell me, there were other folks and other organizations that played a key role here?
Yep. Janine at Aging Services was involved right from the beginning. Barb Croce at Chevy Chase ended up stepping up and saying, some frozen meals that we could have delivered 5 at a time just on Mondays, which, might have made it logistically easier for us. But all I could think is these seniors are used to having a hot meal brought to them on Mondays, and and we check in on them every time we deliver a meal. So I didn't want it to become a once a week thing. That isn't really what the intent of Meals on Wheels is. So yeah, and Jane, of course, at United Way, and Michelle Fott and Amy Kemp were involved from ICAP. So got everybody on a call. I had a draft of a flyer put together with just holes to fill in once we figured out exactly how we were doing it. And we made those decisions on that call. I filled out the flyer. I ran them over to Meals on Wheels, the normal Meals on Wheels. And they put those flyers in the boxes. So seniors knew that day, okay, your same meal isn't coming on Monday, but you will be fed and you will be getting continuous deliveries from now until when Meals on Wheels opens up again.
It's amazing. And what Jane had said and what you've said before, the way this community has come together to fill these gaps and exactly like the relief fund there, but also people stepping up and when wanting to be able to help out and coordinate and be flexible. And I can't thank you and all those folks enough for all that incredible work to make sure our community is not in the need that they would be otherwise.
Yeah. And I have to say too, the volunteers, I've got a great group of friends in Indiana, and some of them are in the age group where they have to stay home right now, which I know they find very frustrating. And some of my friends are still limboing below the 60 age group line. And so I knew that I had a couple of friends who, if I asked them, hey, starting Monday, can we deliver 40 Meals on Wheels to people? Can you help make that happen? That they would do it. And they did. And so we got through the first week with no trouble. And then when the article ran in the paper last week, I've probably had 25-ish emails coming to me saying a variety of things, but some of them were people who were writing to tell me that they would like to volunteer to drive. So that's awesome.
So you end up, you're coordinating another volunteer drive.
Kind of, yeah. So there's three, there's a fellow that wrote to me recently, and he was like, what are my options on how to get involved? So I kind of wrote him 3 paragraphs of things that I'm sort of coordinating volunteers for. And, there's ways to get involved with ICAP and delivering their emergency boxes to families who are in need, but also lack transportation to get to one of the food pantries or to get to the warehouse. So being a volunteer driver for that is one of those cases where somebody might call you at 11 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, we have a family in need. Could you drive to Clymer, sometime this afternoon? And so it's like a jump in your car and go do that kind of thing. So that's one opportunity. The other opportunity is that the meals at Chevy Chase that they're doing every day, they are putting out like 200 to 250 adult and kid meals, or not meals, but lunches, bagged lunches, every day, every Monday through Friday. And I just can't say enough about how amazing that is to put that together. And then they were the ones who stepped up above and beyond that to say, we'll also cook the Meals on Wheels meals. So, I mean, there's a lot of people to thank here to make all of this happen. And there's volunteering available in each of these programs. So, yep.
So those, I don't know if Brandon, I think you had those 3 on a Facebook post recently that was conveniently like, here's how you can help, here's how you can help, and here's how you can help. I probably
did that. Yeah, I should really copy that email I just sent to that gentleman, because it pretty much boiled down, at least the 3 opportunities I'm helping with. People have asked how to help with them. And I say every time, Chevy Chase is a great program. ICAP is a great program. They're both doing really important things in our community. And I am seeing firsthand how both of them are taking their dollars and transferring it into help for families who are insecure with food. And so I consider both of them, really valuable organizations to donate to.
So that's fantastic. Brandon, if you can put up those 2 donate pages. Let me ask you this last question. You full screened me and I lost my questions. So those 3 ICAP emergency drivers helping folks prepare and put together those meals at Chevy Chase, and that also supports the Meals on Wheels program. Obviously, donating money to these organizations directly, it sounds like, is exactly the kind of donation dollars that folks want. It's going directly to the service directly. They take that money, then they shop in the morning and fill those lunch boxes in the afternoon. Is that right?
They are, I believe, actually shopping in the afternoon for the next day's food, but it's something like that. I'm not involved in those logistics, but yeah, putting dollars towards these organizations allows them to spend your dollars in exactly the way they need to spend them in order to do exactly what they're doing right now. The other opportunity, and it's something that, we never, we never want to say that this is less important. Like we're doing a food collection this Saturday at Giant Eagle. It'll be most of the day. We will have some volunteers outside with carts so that when people go in to do their shopping this weekend, they can pick up a couple extra things in the grocery store, bring it out, put it in our carts. We'll get all of that food out to ICAP, and all of the emergency requests for food boxes are going through ICAP right now. So that food will literally go right back out to an Indiana County family who needs it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me ask you about that idea I had at the top of the program. If folks were interested in steering stimulus benefit dollars that will be coming into the community, and some folks may not have lost any income and may yet get a stimulus check and may be interested in donating that money, your suggestion, if we wanted to coordinate that should go straight to these organizations.
Yeah, I think that could be coordinated. Although it's there is that United Way emergency fund too. That takes dollars that go. Yeah, that goes directly into people who need it right into their pockets. I know of a local family who this week contacted me and said that they sent a third of their stimulus money to, and I think at that point it was just anticipated stimulus money. It hadn't actually arrived in their account yet, but they sent 400 to Chevy Chase and 400 to ICAP and 400 to another organization, and got that money right back out. So, if somebody is fortunate to be in a family who is not counting on those dollars to make ends meet, and they decide to turn that around, that is a great way to put that money to work for Indiana, PA, and Indiana County.
I think it's a great idea. Let's see if we can't gin up some effort on that. Do you have anything else that you want to share with us today? I think we've got some folks watching there in the audience. Do you want to let folks know to get involved and to help people out?
Sure. Just two things I wanted to mention that I haven't talked about. One is that there may be another ICAP produce distribution this weekend. They should kind of keep an eye on Food 911 and ICAP's Facebook page for more information about that. We're going to know tomorrow whether we have the produce coming in to get that out. But last week when well, I should probably not really say this because this will get even more people there. But last week, I think there were about 50 cars in line about an hour before we opened. Wow. We don't want to get people there in the middle of the night waiting in line or anything like that. But I'm saying there is a need, and produce is something that, normally if you're getting food from a food pantry, it's very often non-perishables. So it was a real treat kind of box to have fruits and vegetables and some ready-made salads and eggs and whatnot. So keep an eye out for that. And then second, I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to a number of people who are making masks. It seems like almost anybody who's got sewing skills right now, if you've got sewing skills and kind of a heart for people in general, you're making masks right now. And a few of those folks are making some extra masks and sending them my way. And starting tomorrow, we're going to try to get those masks out with some of the lunches that we're distributing at Chevy Chase. And that way, some of the folks who maybe aren't plugged into the network that's getting these handmade masks out to people, like I have one right here that somebody made for me. If you're not in that network of people, or you can't afford to buy, a medical mask, we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to wear a mask when you're in public, and especially if you're using public transportation and whatnot.
Yeah. So the message there is that we don't have enough masks in this community for everybody to just have one. And so if folks are making masks at home, they should just continue to make masks at home. And if you're thinking about making a mask at home and having it, if you need it or somebody else needs it, there is a home for those masks, and we can get them through Food 911, I would imagine, into folks' hands to literally hand them out. So if people still want to make masks, everybody should still be making masks at home.
I would agree.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming back and letting us know. It's among all of the challenges here, it is really, and a lot of folks have remarked, it's really great to see the number of people that have really stepped up to make sure that holes get filled, and they continue to. And it is just an amazing thing to see it happen live there on Facebook. It still happens as often as it did, 2 weeks ago, where folks are coming down and saying, "Here I am. It's me. It's my father. It's my mother, and I need help." And it is quick. It is quick.
I can't say enough about how much those stories have impacted me. I mean, so I pretty much wake up every morning and I know I'm going to have a couple messages from people who are saying, what can I do? I'm at like, I have no food left for dinner tonight. Like, what can I do? And all kidding aside, I said to my husband last night, I will talk to anybody that wants me to come and talk to them after this whole thing is over, because I've got stories to tell, and they are stories that would move you as they have me. And I think, when you've grown up in a blessed, fortunate sort of way, and you don't know people who are in a different socioeconomic class than you might be, you need to hear these stories because they are your neighbors.
Well, and I think Jane mentioned 44% of folks in Indiana County live at or below poverty, which is a huge number. And we don't necessarily, it's not necessarily visible all the time, particularly in town, but out of the county, it certainly is there. And it is just incredible, the need that's out there, and how it's there. Yeah. I hope you'll come back again. Let us know what's happening next week, maybe.
Sure. Next week, the week after, something like that. Yep. Give me a call.
We'll make it through. Thank you so much for joining us again.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Jake.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Sybil. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. This is episode 9 of Center Webcast. My name's Gerald Smith. We're here at the end. I've got Brandon and Sybil here still with me. Sybil, what's coming up next? What's on the radar? What are we talking about?
We might have emergency management coming on. Let's hope. Cross our fingers. Also, we might have as well, we will have some people on from local fitness. There are a lot of people that are in the dumps because the gyms have all closed. Of course, those are germ factories, so they closed them down. And YMCA, also some other area, yoga studios and exercise studios, also the Pittsburgh area, because they're live streamed, have free or nearly free classes available online using Zoom and other social media live programs. Have a couple of people talk about what to do to keep from gaining, this is what freshman 15 will call the COVID-15. Around the COVID-15, yeah. Not all jokes aside, it's a very serious issue. We're stuck in the house, can't exercise, work out, get out, like we usually do. Weather's about to turn, and we're used to going out voting and doing all types of things, and a lot of us will be stuck inside. So what can we do to try to keep our fitness regimen up, keep the pounds off, stay healthy that way? Also, on the idea of health, I will have one of my family members. We have many, many nurses in my family. They're all very diligently working right now with COVID. Also seeing a lot of disparities. And so one of the 4 nurses in my family will be on to talk a little bit about what they're seeing with COVID-19 and sort of the health and issues that, I guess, in general that we're having with COVID with people of color and in poor communities.
Awesome. I can also let you know, coming up, we have Dave Reed, former state house representative for Indiana County here, this region. Dave Reed was going to be joining us in his capacity as regional president of First National Bank, and he's going to talk about some of the stimulus funds that are being administrated through some of our local banks, including that payroll protection program and a few others. Also, we just got confirmed David Altrog. I hope I'm saying his last name right, who is one of the producers of Vinegar Hill Productions. He is I would call him a local celebrity. He put together a fundraiser also on Facebook. I think it's called the Facebook Avengers, where they've raised money to make face shields for IRMC, IRMC Medical Center here in Indiana. And so we'll have him on and hear a little bit about that. It seems to be a pretty big fundraiser. And like you said, hopefully we'll have Mr. Sutzman on from the Emergency Management Center. And we'll do another re-invite of all of our folks, including Senator Casey, local current Representative Struzzi, Senator Pittman, IRMC, and as well, we'll be inviting folks from IUP to so they can let us know what's happening there. Anything else, Brandon, Sybil? Are we all good?
We're good.
I think we're good. I'd been seeing quite a few questions on Facebook and other places about what the best place to give was. So this, our guest today really helped us out with that. So
it seems those core places, Chevy Chase Community Center, ICAP, as well as the United Way, those are direct funding directly to folks here in Indiana County, as direct as you can get. There's all sorts of good fundraisers out there, but those are some that will your money goes straight there. Well, thanks a lot. That's a wrap. That's episode 9. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you again. We'll be back again on Thursday at 6 p.m. where we'll see Dave Reed and David Altrug and who knows who else. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.